Today, I want to talk about persistence. Now, I was going to be prepared and look up the definition of persistence earlier, but surprise, surprise, I didn't do my homework, which if you knew me in high school, tended to happen sometimes. Persistence is, to me, this act of pursuing something despite the fear of failure, the threat of not making it the way you want to, and just this general gumption to just continue in spite of the odds. I've been thinking a lot about persistence in the sense of the revisitation of childhood dreams that I never actually pursued seriously. And this is going to sound incredibly stupid to a lot of people, but when I was younger, I, like many other people my age, wanted to be a YouTuber. I'm doing the math in my head of this encounter, and I don't like how it shakes out. I will accept that. That is fine. It gave me enough for a pickaxe. That's really all I need at this point. I was born in early 2000s, like early 2000s, to set myself apart without giving it all away. And I started a little YouTube channel that I'm not really going to mention by name in about 2010. So I was a tiny little guy back then. And oh, Jesus. Go the fuck away. All right. Watch your back, they say. They are correct. Listen to them, for they have knowledge that will save your life at some point. This is back before we had the term content creator, which I take personal issue with. But I had a little YouTube channel where I would do my young kid hobbies and upload videos of piano covers I learned from like the lesson books that you progress through as you learn how to play the piano. That was not right at the beginning of YouTube, but it was certainly pretty early on in the journey. I started witnessing YouTube in kind of what I would consider to be one of the golden ages of like Let's Plays, especially the beginnings of Minecraft and YouTube. And so I'm going to take you on a little bit of a nostalgia trip, because the reason all this comes up is I've been spending a lot of time around my friends who are born and raised basically on this group called the Yogscast. The Yogscast is a group of British fellows who got their start doing Minecraft YouTube, and kind of once they gained stability and popularity, moved on to other games and endeavors. If you were too young to kind of grow up with the golden age of the Yogscast, like back in the Shadow of Israfel Tekkit days, right? A, I'm sorry, because that was great stuff. But B, the best way I can describe it is they did pretty much what I'm doing, where it wasn't anything fancy. It was just, you know, recording them playing the game of Minecraft. There wasn't even editing at that point. I mean, it existed, but the way that they would do their Let's Plays is they would just kind of film it all in one big chunk and throw it up on the internet, and it did great. If it sounds insane now, it's because, well, you can't really, you know, or at least you can, but you're discouraged from just yeeting your stream of consciousness up into the cloud. As a kid, I always wanted to do a Minecraft Let's Play, and by all accounts, I started one that I made it about 3 episodes into, I think, before I stopped uploading. And that was like one of my many little eras or attempts to pursue YouTube in any sort of regular capacity. But, you know, life happened. I got old. I went off to university, studied the hardest non-medical bachelor's that you can get. After that, I fell right into a career in lighting design. Frankly, I'm just infinitely thankful for, because I realize how much I lucked out. But my job and my dream for a while was traveling the country and internationally. We even did Canada a couple of times, operating lighting for all sorts of acts. And so I've done 3 tours and change. I was the head electrician on a nationally touring like children's theatrical show. But the second tour I did was with a metalcore band, and frankly, that's an experience I look very fondly back on. My third tour was with a couple of drag queens. So you could say I've seen basically every side of the entertainment industry. I got to cross the border and work in another country, get a, you know, venue buyout or per diem in a currency I'd never seen before, which was really cool. But touring is not exactly like the easiest thing on people's mental health. Basically, you become not homeless, but you're living out of a bus for a short period of time, or a longer period of time in my case. My first tour I signed on was 11 months, a different city every week. We would travel Monday, have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off wherever we happen to be, do like a load in on Friday, do a show Saturday, and then do a show and a load out on Sunday. And so I got to spend a lot of time in some really cool cities in the US. I also got to spend a lot of time in places that I am thankful that I do not live, for lack of a better description. There's difficulty to that because you're effectively leaving your friends and family. Your ability to keep in touch with the people in your life gets harder because for me, especially on the rock tour, it was like my work day would be 12 hours back to back to back to back. You know, I'd basically stumble off the bus in the morning, load in a show, run a show, pack up a show, air fry a couple of chicken nuggets from the grocery store down the road, and then I was up again doing it the next day. The longest stretch for that tour was 10 days in a row of that, so 10 12-hour days back to back to back to back to back. And so, you know, you can just imagine, like, it wears you down. And the other aspect of touring is, while it pays damn good money, at least especially for like my generation, you're a contractor. And so when the contract ends, you know, there's no promise of further work. And it gets very hard to maintain these local gigs when you have these periods of having to be like, yeah, sorry, like I got to get all these gigs covered because I got to take off on this international tour. And so it's extremely difficult, and it's very hard mentally on the people that are in the industry. And so for me, I still think I would like to tour someday, but ultimately I've ended up with a very cozy local gig at one of our historic theaters. And so as I've been, you know, working on establishing new things to do with myself, I found myself going back to this YouTube thing that I wanted to pursue as a kid. Cringe in some ways. I mean, you know, here I am, I'm 25 years old and should be being a productive adult by all accounts. Instead, I am playing eternal block game on the internet. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think what I'm trying to prove to myself is that I can stick with something, because I've historically just never been very good at that. I am not a person that has an easy time sticking even to a routine sometimes. Like, I get deep into weeks where I've booked too many shows and my routine goes completely out the window, and I don't fold my laundry, and I stumble back home at odd hours and pass out, get up at 2 p.m. and get to the next gig. But I want to prove to myself that, like, I am a capable fellow, you know, and that I am able to pursue something regularly. And so what I will say is that there is no shortage of people that will tell you how to YouTube nowadays. Turn on my wood into torches. I am a dunce. I'm an ultimate dunce. What have I done? So emergency mission to go get wood, I suppose. So there's all these people that will advise you how to do YouTube in the year 2026. And I have watched a lot of content, and I have this lingering just frustration with the advice that is given out most of the time, because there is no shortage of people telling you, use AI to write scripts and select a profitable niche. At the same time, you know, please buy my guide courses. You can buy my course on how to become 100% self-sustained just with income from headless YouTube channels. I take issue with that because, to me, this is about making something that I am proud of and has a quality that I can respect and have some joy at. And so especially the advice on niches is like, to me, YouTube has always been a place to sort of share things that you're interested in or passionate about. The idea of picking the topic of your YouTube channel based off of profitability metrics and not off of self-interest is incredibly goofy to me. It's sort of like, you know, wanting to start a public speaking thing, but not knowing what to say and not having any of your own worldviews to share, any of your own advice. At that point, the only purpose of that exercise is just to do it for money. And while I acknowledge it'd be nice to summon money out of the void that is the internet, I'm in this to make something that I'm proud of, and I'm also in it to just prove that I can contribute something publicly, have a body of work that I could be like, look, I persisted in this and I got better, and I started somewhere and I ended up somewhere else. You know, I fully acknowledge this could go nowhere and end up like the first time I tried making a Minecraft series that died after 3 episodes. And there's also hope that it does go somewhere, and if I persist and just work at it and put in regular amounts of time on a dependable schedule over a long amount of hours, eventually I will arrive somewhere. That's primary goal number one, is just play some Minecraft, share my thoughts, because there are people that resonate. There seems to be this whole genre of YouTube video out there, which is just member of Gen Z plays Minecraft in the background whilst discussing political subject. And these videos do very well. I mean, these channels have huge amounts of views and talk all about achieving financial independence via content creation, and that's really neat. But I've always had this this paralyzing issue where one of my strongest skills in communication is my writing. That's how I most effectively get points across, because I can really sit and ponder my word choice and the things that I want to say ahead of time. But the issue is that I've got very likely north of 10,000 words worth of scripts just hanging out in my Obsidian vault. Scripts for YouTube videos that would be really cool if I took the time to make them, but instead I read the script again and decide if I like it or not and make little tweaks and then do nothing with it. And so this is my way of forcing myself to just do. The solution to the anxiety of inaction is action. You'll never get a perfect product out the other end, but you're not going to get anything out the other end if you don't just do. But ultimately, the only difference between me and the person that I would want to be in the hypothetical context of pursuing YouTube is the action. Aside from a couple analytical things, I already know how to use editing software, I dare say proficiently. I already have pretty dang good setup. I mean, you've seen these shaders. Back in the old days, you could never envision Minecraft looking this good. And I've got an off-board mic. The SM58 is the bastion of live production and has been for all of recorded history. But I have those things. I have those skills. I have every constituent component that I need in order to do this. The only thing that I am lacking, the only distance between where I am and where I want to be, is just the action of it. Sitting on my butt and planning for a hypothetical someday that may or may not come. I am taking the first step today. I am taking the challenge of, I want to say it was Early Exit who kind of put the challenge out to be you just need to do take one step towards actually pursuing making videos. So this is my step. By all accounts, might be another project of mine that dies and never sees the light of day, but there is that little chance that I continue. For the Gen Z who kind of grew up in my same cohort, I hope we all remember the parodies of old, as it were. Don't Mind at Night, and nowadays if you say creeper, you'll get a non-zero amount of people who will be like, oh man, because we have that body of tribal knowledge that no amount of time or trauma can take from us. But what astounds me is that there are actually a lot of people who do not understand those references, and to think that the kids don't have awareness of the sacred texts that came from us when we were young, is kind of insane to me. That's a weird thought. And this game has changed so much in the time that I've been playing it. I mean, I remember when creative mode was one continuous menu, you had to scroll down and it was just all of the blocks in one menu. So a lot of this stuff is new. I don't know what you are. Are you a cow? You are a cow. Interesting. Are you So I'm trying to decide if these cows are results of the shaders I'm using, or if there are different cow variants now. I don't know. But we had Minecraft Survival Island and Shadow of Israfel, and I've even gone back so far as to watch, if you've ever heard of a fellow named Pulsors Jr., he did a very prolific Minecraft Let's Play series where his whole thing was how to survive and thrive your first night, and that grew into a full Let's Play. And last I checked, he still makes Minecraft content to this day. Even my stuff, I go back and watch and have a little bit of a nostalgic trip. One of the comments I made in an earlier video was man, the new combat update sucks, and just thinking about how long it's been since that update dropped. You used to be able to just whack somebody as many times with your stone sword, and food used to not stack either. Being able to have a stack of beef is pretty epic. That is a feature I missed playing on Oldcraft. I would say that this generation is not without their prolific creators. I've sort of kept up to date on what's popular in Minecraft nowadays. Hermitcraft is obviously a very prolific series. I watched Parkour Civilization, and it is it fascinates me from like a standpoint of just what it is. The best way I've heard it described is it's almost like you're trying to accomplish a task whilst having dementia of some sort. Because I think that from my understanding of like what Parkour Civilization is it began as like short videos that were kind of made in series and meant to be watched like a bit at a time. And so when I watched the whole like chronological Parkour Civilization video, I mean, you could do a drinking game, take a shot every time he says Parkour Civilization, and I'm sure you'd have a very wonderful evening. One of the pieces of cinema that really stood out to me lately, and I do mean genuine cinema, it's a user named Ish, and he put, I think it was 1,000 players on a server together and split them evenly between 2 islands, one of them having basically the perfect conditions for survival, so all the trees you could want, plenty of natural resources, places to build, supplies of food. And the other was like a barren wasteland of desert. Honestly, if you offered me the opportunity to go watch that in a theater, I would. And it's one of those videos where I went into it with the expectation of Parkour Civilization and was blown away by just like, it got me thinking about emergent behavior, and that's another tangent I could go on, but absolute piece of cinema. So there's good content coming out nowadays. Honestly, one of my pleasures in life is I've sort of trained my YouTube algorithm to show me videos with like single double-digit views. There's a fascinating element of YouTube, I think, to be explored in just like finding channels with no views, because honestly, like, you can find some high quality stuff that's not really been discovered yet, but you also find stuff that, for me, it's a meme of like my favorite genre of video as of late have been these videos with like incomprehensibly goofy thumbnails and titles that are vague as hell, but I see them having 22 views and I'm like, okay, I gotta go watch this. And lately, like, I've been recommended a couple of Minecraft Let's Plays that have started recently. Don't have a huge number of views, but still happen despite that. And it's just very interesting to me. Like, I love seeing these little corners of underrated content that not everyone is going to know about and frankly are going to fly under the radar. Like, just the existence of that stuff has always been something that's fascinating to me. Whoa. Oh my Jesus Christ. I was basking in the beauty of the natural landscape. You didn't have to... Oh, and there's tridents. Okay. This could be a certified nope from me. Let me contemplate my mistakes. A little bit of dad humor for you. I have multiple friends who are absolutely convinced I have a child somewhere I don't know about because of my ability to make dad jokes. I hear you're gurgling. I have no interest in combat. Man, I have lost my train of thought. It's gone. Safely. I think some of my favorites especially are videos with practically no views in a language that I don't speak. Those are the true depths of the YouTube algorithm giving me what I want. Ow! I forgot how annoying these guys are. Yeah, see, this wasn't a thing we had to deal with in Minecraft Alpha. Jeez, stop it! What I need is a shield. Let's see if I can remember how to make one of those. I think it's like... So yeah, there's another aspect of Minecraft that didn't exist. We didn't have a recipe book. So if you wanted to know how to make something, that was your prerogative to learn how to do it. Where are you, mofo? Amazing. Did I get the trident? I don't think there was a trident to get. No such luck. Better luck next time. Sorry, gambling. Small channels or videos with very few views. That is my jam because it is, to me, the purest expression of like the fractal nature of the stuff that humanity creates. Other channels have done very good analyses on this, and obviously this is inspired by those, but like there are single player worlds out there with cathedrals that are just sitting on people's hard drives hanging out. Sheerly beautiful works of cinematic art hanging out on YouTube channels with only 200 subscribers and a double-digit number of views. But I suppose this is a decent stopping point to hang out. What did we accomplish today? I yapped and yapped and yapped and yapped and yapped. I got a little hidey hole going, and I've set the stage, I suppose, for what could end up being a grand adventure someday. But I guess only time will tell. I guess if you've enjoyed, the most I can ask of you is just stick around and see where this journey takes us. As in life, only the future can say. So with that, this is Snowfall's little secret project, and I am signing off for the evening. Goodbye.